Okay, so hello everybody. As you know, my name is Kati Clements and I'm the coordinator of LearnTech Accelerator project. And today we have a very special guest from a company called Qridi. And your name is Markus Packalen. Do you want to introduce yourself and your company a little bit?
Yes, my name is Markus Packalen and I represent a Qridi company, which is a formative assessment tool aimed for teachers, originally here in Finland, but nowadays around the world already.
Okay, how old is your company?
It started in 2015.
Okay, so you're not a startup anymore, or you consider yourself a startup, or a little bit more advanced?
Well, we were growing, rapidly growing startup, I would say. There's already 14 people working for us. So
Okay,
it's not a small company anymore.
great. So there is clearly need in the market for this. So let's talk a little about the innovation in comparison to the old learning environments. So how did you come up with this idea? So what is innovative in your Qridi product?
Well, in Finland in 2014, there was a big curriculum reform. All the schools got a new national curriculum, and there was a lot of new challenges for teachers and classrooms, and one of them was assessment. And the idea is that the assessment is not supposed to be just pen and paper traditional test type of student evaluation, but we should give parents and the students more feedback on the especially on the process of learning, and the assessment should happen during the learning process, so that it's not only like a final exam or anything. So it should be formative and continuous. And also there should be many different types of assessment, not only teacher assessment as traditionally.
Well, this sounds very interesting. So, do you want to show your solution a little bit? How did you solve this problem? What kind of tool you provide?
Yes, sure. Just a minute. Yes, just first I want to say that these transversal competencies was one of the reasons that we wanted to develop Qridi, because in Finland there are not only traditional school subjects, but there are also these transversal competencies, which are multidisciplinary learning projects that combine different subjects,
So,
and they are skills based. So not only like learning content based, but the idea is to develop future skills of the students.
I think this is something very important. In the LEA consortium, we have actually prepared this new project proposal lately for a future project where we would tackle exactly this issue and use the current merging technologies like artificial intelligence, for example, in order to also help us and the schools of the future when they have to be teaching and also assessing these transversal skills, which I guess well, at the moment what I'm seeing around the Europe, at least in learning environments, the assessment is not exactly, it's not automatic. It is not utilized the kind of technologies that would be available in some other markets as in healthcare sector and so on. So I think that there is a lot of room for innovation in education currently.
Yes, yes, definitely. And especially with these transversal competencies, it's impossible to assess these in a traditional way. You have to assess them in a new way. You have to come up with new ways to make assessment for these. And as far as I understand, around the world there are challenges like this going. Like you said, you have an international project going on.
Yeah. Yes.
But the idea is that we wanted to make a formative assessment tool, and it's already used for several years, and we have about 10% of the Finnish schools are already using it, and we have also programs around the world in many countries in Europe, in Estonia and Sweden, and in Europe schools, and then we have also in Qatar and United Arab Emirates and Maldives and Malaysia. So there's a lot of things going on around the world. But the idea is that this tool helps students in setting up their own goals, and the goals can be visualized as mountains or pathways. And when the students proceed in their learning, reaching up their goals, they can move their character onwards on this graphics. Then we also have.
Can you show a little bit?
Yes.
Can you share the screen so we can see something?
Can you see my screen now?
No.
Up. Sorry.
You have to. I don't know. I guess.
Yes. All right.
Start the sharing. Yes. Now I can.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Sorry. I thought I was sharing it already.
So you have to go backwards a little bit.
Yeah. That's not a problem. Well, the idea is that you have classes. For example, I have a demo class with different students. I can group the students if I want to, but I have different types of evaluations that I can make for the students, and I get data of the student performance and student progress. And I can make self-evaluations, and you can also set up so that it's peer evaluation, so that the students assess each other's, or it can be group evaluation, like that the groups evaluate each other's, or teachers, of course, or guardians, even the parents can access this system.
That's interesting. So do you send some messages for the parents to their email, or do they have to go to the system to see what's going on?
Yes, we actually have a different view. We have a teacher interface. We have a student interface. Usually, the students use it on their own mobile phones or tablets. But also for the parents, they have also their own interface that they can log into, and see how their kids are doing in the school. Yes. Okay. Then there is a possibility to make task lists for the students. This is just a very basic demo, but the idea is that here are my students, and here are my tasks. For example, for self-regulated learning week, I could make a task, 15 tasks here, and then once the students are finished with their tasks, for example, tasks could be something like fill in the textbook page this and that, or complete the arts work from this subject, or read this history book, or watch this video from YouTube, and I can set it up so that I can include links or instructions also in these tasks. And once the students are finished with the tasks, they make a self-evaluation. This is very simple self-evaluation scale, but it could also be something different. And they mark if it's done or not, and I can see it here. If they want, they can also leave comments here. So this is another very useful feature that we have. We also have journals, learning journals, which is very useful if you want to make a learning portfolio, for example, arts or technology or on a field trip or anything like that. And the teacher sees all the entries that the students make in the journal.
How about the interface to other learning management systems or personalized learning environments? If the school is already using something like Moodle or some other system, then do you have some sort of interface, or what are you using to? How do you use to adapt to them?
Well, if they are using, for example, a Google Suite, G Suite, you can log in Qridi with the Google account or Microsoft account also if they're using O365, and we are also quite open to integrate our system to other learning management systems. So it can be done if it's necessary.
Mm-hmm. But you would have to go through some sort of manual coding, I guess, for this.
Yes, we do have already some interfaces. For example, with Polar activity bracelets, activity loops, we have a integration with that. And
okay, so if they have an activity bracelet, you can get that information. So how does it look for the student? Can they see their own progress?
Yes. Well, you can get different types of reports, different types of graphs and analytics from the system. And this is only analytics from self-evaluation, but there are lots of other types of data that you can find from our system. You can draw these like webs or pies or 10 different types of graphs.
I guess the idea is that if you can get some learning data through XAPI or so, can that be integrated for you for your dashboard?
I would say that that's a bit too technical question for me. I cannot answer that straight away.
Okay, all right. It's okay. I mean, I think that one of the key aspects of these different learning systems and learning management systems for the schools is the fact that they don't like the fact that they have got so many interfaces. They would like to have one system where everything comes together and they can get all the learning results from the devices and from their old systems and their new systems, and ideally they would all come together somehow.
I can only tell that we have several APIs that we are developing at the moment, like interface connections with other systems.
Yeah.
So we have a quite capable technical team to deal with those.
I have interviewed your technical team, so I do know that you are using XAPI. So this was a tricky question from that perspective, but don't worry. Okay.
No worries.
Right. But you are open for European markets. I mean, if there is a new market like Germany or Portugal or Spain, where you are not yet present, how about the language issues and so on?
We're currently translating our product to many languages. We already have it in English and Swedish and Estonian. But there are also we have customers in Arabic. Who would need a Russian translation. So those are underway, and they're quite easy for us to conduct. So if we have different needs in Europe, for example, Polish or Italian, it can easily be done.
Okay, yeah, good. I'm going to ask you a bonus question, which because of the fact that I'm interested in what you think about the future of this kind of like measuring learning and so on. At the moment, I guess lots of the technology is based on so-called user analytics. So you can measure how long, for example, somebody is staying in some task or this kind of information which you can get automatically from when students are doing tasks or if they do it correct or not and so on. But do you think that we are going to be able to measure learning in the future in more automatic way somehow with, I don't know, videoing how their eye movements are going to go and so on? And how far are we to that in the future? And do you have any plans for your company to integrate such methods of evaluation of the
Yes.
actual learning process in a kind of like, you know, how you can let's say measure based on the kind of performance or the way that the person is behaving?
Yes, I understand your question. I believe that in the future the learning situation will be monitored like from all different perspectives, and body functions are measured in very accurate way, and the surroundings and the interaction between other students and teacher-student interaction can be measured, and student performance in different ways. And so it will all be like a very accurate picture of what is happening in this learning situation can be drawn with different sensors and softwares. But I believe that at the moment our focus is on like teaching the learner to reflect upon his own learning. That we believe that we want to make the learner the expert on his own learning. So that's our aim, and by using Qridi, the learners can learn how to reflect their own learning and how to like improve themselves as learners, and be more goal oriented, and perhaps set some own goals.
To be more conscious on how the learning is happening. I think that for all of us, we don't really think about our learning. You know, the learning just happens to us, and somehow maybe we read books and that we think that that's how we learn. But do we really kind of stop and think about how does the learning actually happen?
Yes.
I think that this is a big question for the future, and I do believe that in the future we will be able to, you know, use the sensors and so on to help us guide ourselves into understanding our learning better. You know, at the moment you can already get those, you know, the rings that measure your heart rate and whatever.
We do have an integration also for
Oh, do
overall
you?
ring. Yes.
That's very interesting. What kind of
it's on construction, but still.
do you have any feedback on that, or I mean, have you utilized it with students already or no?
We have some experiments going on, but stay tuned, I would say.
Okay, this sounds good for us. Well, thank you very much for this talk. I think that this is very interesting technology for our schools and municipalities around Europe. I hope that they enjoy this. What's going to happen now is that we take some questions in the real session. Right now we are of course taping this session, but in the real webinar, when it does happen, we're going to go to the questions which they can write to the chat box, or they can of course use their microphones as well to ask some. So thank you for this.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to chat with you.
Thanks.